publication in the regular newsletter, not the manager's memo, but the printed newsletter. We annually host a fair housing landlord training session. And the third one was
TID
here.
closures. TID closures and any plans on if we apply extension of TID law for affordable housing.
Right.
So all told, probably 6 paragraphs of information.
So I would just request, thank you for that information. And one of the things I have talked about was the our TIF is closing, and one of the standards that we can pick is extending it a year for affordable housing, so I'm sure that'll come up at CBA. But if we could maybe have further discussion, maybe at the CBA, just on what our 3 criteria is moving forward. When we have a plan, that's the correct time.
And I'll see. I can find, there should be a plan in the file. I think these requirements have been in place for a while. So if there's a report there, we'll send it on to the board.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
there's 3 emails that went out. There's no report. There's 3 emails that went out addressing the most easily compliable options under the agreement. But we can certainly provide those to you.
If you can find them, we'll just forward them to the current board.
And I can think I can find them.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. This will be a roll call vote.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee McKay?
Yeah.
Trustee Rosick? Yes. Trustee Zilmer?
Aye.
Trustee Mentor?
Aye.
Trustee Bachman?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that takes us to our next item on the agenda, also for Trustee Maher, consider ordinance 2081, addressing penalties and interest related to late payment for sewer charges.
This is a proposed change to our ordinance to bring the late sewer charges into conformity in line with water utility fees, so there's no confusion for the ratepayers why the two fees. The PSC, which regulates the late fees on water, has set them at the water market at 1%. So their staff is requested through a proposed ordinance to amend the sewer late fees to make them also 1%. They're currently 1.5%. There's anticipated reduction in sewer utility revenues of between $6,000 to $7,000 per year, 1% per month. I would make a motion to approve ordinance number 2081, an ordinance amending the provisions of section 514-49 of the village code entitled sanitary sewer user charge system.
Discussion? Be a roll call vote.
We're waiting.
Trustee McKay?
Yes.
Trustee Rose?
Yes.
Trustee Zilmer?
Aye.
Trustee Mentor?
Aye.
Trustee Bachman?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
President
Yes.
Johnson?
Okay, takes us to item 9C, Public Works. Number 1, consider amendment to design contract with Freight Engineering for the design of Wilson Drive. Trustee Zolder?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have before us a memo and a amendment to the contract from Drake for the Wilson Drive work. In committee, we got some additional detail regarding the breakdown of the additional costs. We also had agreement in committee to get from Drake, agreed in committee to provide not only with their invoice as per contract is percent complete, they're going to give the backup for those invoices with respect to meetings. The overage, as we see in the memo, was due to additional work not contemplated, that work for additional, I'm sorry, I can't remember what that was for additional meetings on, or additional time for meetings, both at board meetings, preparing for attending, and then following up on the public information meeting, as well as anticipated additional cost for the public information meeting 2 planned for September. This does come with a non-unanimous recommendation for approval from the Public Works Committee, and I don't have my, I would then go ahead and make a motion to approve amendment for 1 April 17, 2017 Great Wilson Drive professional service agreement in the amount of $8,800.
Second.
Discussion. Trustee Rosie?
Just a little, I don't know if we need to amend it or anything, but in committee, Greg did mention that the memo didn't put one thing that they're charging for, which was meeting time. That's really where the money is. Somehow that got left out, but they identified 2 things in the memo of why they need to amend the contract and charge more. One was bus pullouts, looking at bus pullouts that wasn't in their contract, and the other was answering questions. They added to that in committee that the majority of those extra hours were because the meetings had run over what was expected. I think they budgeted 9 hours for meetings and made more. So we did clarify that they have not met, other than the public meetings we had. There's no been side meetings that's eating up that time. I objected. I'm the one that made it not unanimous. I believe that the scope covers bus pullouts. Evaluating that, the reason that the money was in there is they specified that it's because they're being asked to write a memo. In committee, we had discussion of, do we really need this memo? I mean, today we discussed it in committee and moved forward with designing, what they were proposing. So I don't think it's kind of retro, but if we could save that money, I would, I'm recommending that we talked about it. I don't know what formalizing it in writing is going to do, because we're already moving forward. And then in addition, the additional meeting time, I really believe that there was very with Shorewood, the scope was 9 hours for public meetings and answering questions. She did say that they didn't have to, they've been requested to put everything in writing, and that's what the answers to the questions is taking so long and requiring them, and she said she prefers just having the person call and ask by phone. So I took that, because I was identified in committee as the one causing all of the questions to run over. So I will call you.
Yeah, I went over their presentation, and I was on vacation and couldn't be at the interviews, but I mean, they touted their experience in public input and how great they are in public involvement and how they worked in Shorewood on the Capitol. I don't, preparing for the September meeting, they knew they were having a second public meeting. I don't see why that should be a surprise. That there was they've been to 1 public meeting so far. That actually, I don't even think that meeting went over. It was about a 3-hour meeting. So meetings, I think, were clearly included in the scope of their work. They were hired to design a road. The road includes how buses are going to move in that road. So I'm not clear how bus pullouts are somehow in addition to the road design. And I'm going to go back to the minutes from July 10th, when Trustee Zovic moved, seconded by Trustee McKay, to direct Graves to continue to develop the hybrid greenway alternative with the following. And then it talks about emergency vehicles, parking needs, option of bus pullouts at pedestrian crossings as discussed. So we weren't saying there was no direction here. We need a separate memo on bus pullouts. We didn't ask for a separate memo for pedestrian crossings or a separate memo on parking or a separate memo on emergency vehicles. why they would have decided they need to write a memo on bus pullouts based on this board direction, I do not see any connection there. I just don't see any I just see, we were asking them to continue on. They were at 30%, now they're at about 50%. So as they are moving through, we are asking them to add or take out or whatever as they refine their design, which is what they had included in their proposal. So, and I have to say this, the question of, the public was asking too many questions. Did they say no, it wasn't the public, it was trustee questions that they were upset that they had to, I mean, I don't know if they expected that we would just, take what they had and nod and have no response or no questions after a project that has been, so important to this community and is I mean, I got to tell you, I have people talking to me who this is the #1 issue on their plate, and that they have been engaged in this issue in a very deep and committed way for years now, who have sat through, I have sat through a year of meetings on that steering committee and on that task force. And so to say that because I questioned, for example, why they would come with a boulevard design with a southbound lane of 16 feet that you would not even have room to move over to let a fire truck go by. I mean, and I asked them, and I raised the question with them, there's probably 8 ambulances a day going south on Wilson Drive, going where? Right to Harbor Chase, which the village helped build and put there, okay? So to suggest that trustees asking questions is somehow out of line in the context of this contract and consulting contract, I find incredibly, I don't know, it's insulting, frankly, it's insulting.
I think Greg's not here to speak for themselves, but I don't think it's fair, and I think perhaps you've misunderstood my characterization, but I didn't hear Grafe say at all that our questions were out of line. As a matter of fact, there were compliments to the board for the level of detail that we looked at and the questions that we had. We are at a point now where the level of effort to satisfy our needs as a board and our needs as a community has exceeded what they had estimated. And I think there was no. I think that characterization isn't. I didn't sense that from hearing from the Grafe representative at our community.
Well, I received that in an email that it was trustee questions that caused them to go over their budget. That was what Leanne's email said.
I was in the committee, and they clearly said, you have a lot of good questions, we want to thoroughly research it. Also, the bus issue, normally, with the low ridership, they would not have done, it did not warrant the bus pullouts that the village has indicated they wish those and want additional information developed. They're also working on an hourly basis. So, as we ask more, if we go into beyond what the original scope was, it takes them more hours. It's like they were saying, July 10th meeting started at 7:40. It ended at 12:40. It was 20 to 1. They don't anticipate they have board meetings, but they don't have board meetings that last from 7:40 to almost 5-hour meetings. So.
Yeah, I think the other thing they said was, their experience with Shorewood on Capitol Drive, they had public information meetings and no board meetings.
They budgeted a lot more time. They under-budgeted their time, is what she said. The question that I want to follow up just on that, reading of the motion that Trustee Zovic gave, we were at 30% design. It was the first time we had any input from the public or from our own board members on seeing it, and we gave our input. your motion was very clear we didn't go backwards, we didn't say, let's scrap these two alternatives and start a new alternative. We said, we're gonna keep exactly what you did, and we're gonna refine as we move forward to, I mean, that's what your motion said, to 50% and 60%, we're just gonna refine. And I don't know, I've done a lot of contracting, and maybe our contracts need to be looked at to say, you know, are we really budgeting hourly from meetings? But everything is in the scope. I mean, you should expect feedback from your one meeting at 30% design, preliminary design, and then if we scrapped everything, then a new contract, you know, we need to start with new contracts. But if we're just continuing to refine what they've given us, we changed nothing. We just said, with looking at these items, and that's usually in a consulting contract, that's what happens as we progress through design services. So that's where I got hung up, was that piece of it was, you know, well, we looked at bus pull-ups and we said we didn't want them. You know, we didn't think they were necessary, but they got input that they were important. And so now as we move forward, we're just gonna incorporate them.
Well, there was nothing in the motion asking for a memo or bus pull-outs.
No.
Which is what they did say.
They'd be happy not to do that now.
Right, I don't know who's
The point
requiring
is.
We're getting out of order here now. Trustee Zolbeck?
It's taking longer